Hi guys, alright, so no more Ghost Box app at all. If you guys are wondering what app I used, it is the Sono X10 Spirit Box, and it's the free version. So, lots of very odd things from that. That's why I don't trust these, and that's why I got what I got. Sleeping too late, kind of depressed, just blah. That's why I think these things are more dangerous than a Ouija board. More dangerous than anything. So, yeah, I'm not digging the Ghost Box. Not this anyway. And plus I sleep with this like by my face, so I can watch movies, TV, Netflix, whatever. So I can fall asleep to Lucifer, which is the best thing in the world. It is. It truly is. It makes for amazing dreams. So, yeah, I'm not liking this. Waking up at like noon, drained. It feels ridiculous. So no more of that. I'm deleting that app. So I don't know. I don't know if all ghost boxes do that. I don't know if it's just because that's what I believe, because I do believe that they're more dangerous and they can unleash literally anything. But I know nothing is literally inside of it. But it's just so scattered, and it's not even put together that well. Unlike the Ouija, where we have our intention, we create our atmosphere. With this, we just turned it on and start asking these stupid questions like I did, and kaboom. So I think I just, boom, right here, self-fulfilling prophecy. So, didn't use it yesterday, woke up earlier today, I'm not going to use it today. See what time I wake up tomorrow. But yeah, I just, it's not for me, so, at all. Maybe an actual ghost box. I'm not sure. Yeah, a little iffy on these things. Not that great. Not that great if it's actually that real. So, I'm still on the kick of these scariest stories, the urban legends. It's incredible. It is so incredible. And I don't know why. So, yes, I will be talking to my grandma again through the board. Yeah, it's going to be the board from now on. I don't trust, obviously, the ghost box. The board I do, since I have, quite a few years under my belt with the board. So, yes. But yeah, things have been really, really good. So I'm like, what's going to happen now? Things are too good. What? That scares me. It really scares me when things are way too good. Smooth, everything's nice, peaceful. What the hell's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen? I don't know. Do you? No? I don't either. So, yeah, scary. Too good. Scares me. So, yeah. No art ever came from a place of happiness, I don't think. So, yeah, inspiration is definitely coming back. Alright, so we have 12 terrifying ghost stories you shouldn't read alone. So I'm going to read them with you guys. And I found these pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. I mean, they're really cool. I'm just loving this. It's amazing. And Google Plus, what is up with you? Why are you going away? I use Google Plus quite a bit. So you guys shouldn't go away. You give us until April, and then our notifications when we go into our homepage, which is Google Chrome, and then it tells you when you click you have how many notifications by your little circle with your picture in it. It drops down and it says that these notifications will be going away as well. What the hell? Well, I don't get it. So, anyway. Alright, so Yeah, these are pretty cool. Alright, so the cell phone. Alright, so a couple of months ago, my friend's cousin, a single mother, bought a new cell phone. After a long day of work, she came home, placed her phone on the counter, and went to watch TV. You do not need a colon after that. Her son came to her and asked if he could play with her new phone. She told him not to call anyone or mess with text messages, so he agreed. Alright, so around 11:20, what time? 11:20 a.m. or p.m.? She was drowsy. Okay, so yeah, it was p.m. So she decided to tuck her son in and go to bed. She walked to his room and saw that he wasn't there. She then ran over to her room to find him sleeping on her bed with the phone in his hand. Relieved, she picked her phone back up from his hand to inspect it. Browsing through it, she noticed only minor changes, such as a new background, banner, etc. Alright, but then she opened up her saved pictures. She began deleting the pictures he had taken, until only one new picture remained. I love this. It's fucking awesome. When she first saw it, she was in disbelief. It was her son sleeping on her bed, but the picture was taken by someone else above him. And it showed the left half of an elderly woman's face. Now that's messed up. That's messed up. I don't know how much truth is in this, but that's amazing. That is pretty amazing to have a picture of you being taken from above, and then you have an elderly lady, like, right in your face, or, you know, the silhouette. It's pretty cool. I like that. Alright, so now we have Ghost Bro. Alright, so this person says, my house was built in 1904. My house is older. Yes, it is. So it is a simple family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I have been living here for about 12 years. Of all of the weird things that my siblings and me, and it should be I, sorry guys, have seen or heard in this house, this one event is my favorite. Ooh, someone else loves these. So this happened to my brother. Okay, so she loves it because it happened to somebody else, not her. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friends had started a garage band, playing mostly Spanish rock. Ooh, alternative music, but in Spanish. I love that. I love that. And if you guys are actually watching, Siempre Bruja, which is Always a Witch, it's on Netflix right now. It's amazing. I think it's pretty good. You get your Spanish folk music, you get your Spanish lore. La Santísima Muerte, she's in there. So it does include quite a bit of truth with history. So there's a lot of good history in it, but I mean, on the basis of magic and witchcraft, no. Alright. So, his friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. So they would practice into the early evening, and they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. So this was the time I usually showed up and went to bed, because I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filled out of the basement. Oh, everyone had filled out of the basement, whatever. But the tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way back to the basement, up to the back stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall, into the living room, and out into the front porch. Everyone was outside, sitting in my brother's truck, waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs, when he remembered that he had left his pancakes, in a to-go container, sitting on a speaker in the basement. He made the decision to go back. Now the basement is not clean, with full sight lines. There had been partitions made, and the boiler and main heating unit are right smack in the middle. Ooh, that sounds like a Freddy Krueger movie. So after my brother walks back, he is about to retrieve his food container, when out of the corner of his eye he sees it. What does he see? Okay, it is a shadowy figure right at his peripheral vision. Okay, so this feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother We had been taught that if you are in the presence of a spirit or ghost and you felt a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it. Oh, wow. Yes, that's what I tell people. If you have a negative spirit in your house, cuss at it. Tell it to get the fuck out. It's your house, you're living, it's dead. Unless you can work work and live coexistingly, or all-inclusive with the ghost or spirit or whatever it was. Alright, so my brother chose the latter. Oh, good boy. He basically just told it, hey, fuck you. Huh, I don't have time for this shit. Did they get this from me? Did anybody get this information from me? Because that's my main thing. Okay, my brother started to walk to the back of the basement and briskly up the stairs, closing doors and turning off lights as he was walking out. So the last light switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. Ooh, that's pretty. So my brother said he felt something moving, or something at his back, but at no point did he turn around. And he flicked the last switch. The living room went dark. So as he did the rest of the house, as he stepped out, he pulled on the door, closing it behind him. Still holding his food container in one hand, he jogged down the few porch steps. He walked towards the front of the gate. Our house resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. So, as he closed the gap between himself and his friend-laden truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for spooking out when there was no reason. So, alright, this is pretty cool. This is really cool, actually. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting on his seatbelt and getting ready to pull out of the parking spot directly in front of his house. When one of his friends asked, hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us? My brother answered, what do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He is already gone. So, do you see his car anywhere? The next question they asked. So, then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house? Old-time, old-fashioned, creepy ghost stories. Amazing. Simply amazing. They are. That is so cool. I mean, that just gives me so much joy in my heart to hear that. It literally does. I don't know why. Alright. Now here we go. The rocking horse. So, one night when I was maybe 10 to 12, I had trouble falling asleep. My bedroom was the entire top floor of our house. Ooh, that sounds really oddly familiar. With my bed and such being on the left side and storage closets and a play area being on the right. Okay, that's this apartment up here, only switch it. It's weird. So, I was lying in bed when I heard a noise from the other side of the room and seen a rocking horse begin to rock. It was sitting just outside of one of the storage closet doors. It proceeded to rock its way halfway across the room. Oh, I love it. And stopped dead under the ceiling light. At this point, I was freaking out and just buried my head under my blankets and never peeked out again until morning. Oh, come on, a rocking horse? That's amazing. That's incredible. So, okay, it was all confirmed to not be a dream, as the rocking horse was still in the middle of my room when I woke up. Furthermore, I got a stern reprimand from my parents for being out of bed, playing with my toys, past my bedtime. Their bedroom was directly below the storage closet play area, and had heard the creaking of the rocking horse shuffling across the room. I love it. That's incredible. That is so fun. I would loved to have that happen. But anyways, alright. So now we have the following. Alright. So my oldest sister has a ghost that follows her around for years. So I lived with her once for about 3 months. And so much weird stuff happened in that time. All my sister would say to me when I mentioned it was that her ghost didn't like me being there. Understandable. Things like going to bed with everything locked up and switched off, and waking up in the morning with the back door open, lights on, the kettle switched on, One night my sister and I were getting ready to go out, and I'd asked to borrow her liquid foundation. I used it and put it back where she kept her makeup. 10 minutes later, she's asking me for it, and it was nowhere to be seen. She accused me of taking it and made me buy her a new one, and refused to listen to my side of the story. About a year later or so, when she was packing to move to a new house, she found the makeup in a shoebox with some old letters. The shoebox was in a zipped-up suitcase that was underneath her bed. A year later, waiting on that foundation? But probably the most scared I've ever felt was one afternoon when I was the only one in the house, which never happened as 4 people lived there. I'd arrived home from work and headed straight to the bathroom. All the doors and windows, etc. were closed. I was standing in the bathroom, and started squeezing a pimple on my chin. That's gross. Don't include that. When a female voice in the hall said, "Stop picking your zits." Exactly. Stop it. It's gross. Don't touch your face. Wash it. It was loud enough and sounded real enough, and at the time I thought it was my sister. So I laughed and told her to fuck off. Are these people, picking up my lines? And asked what she was doing for dinner. No answer. I stuck my head out into the hall. No one there. I searched the house top to bottom. There was no one home. I sat on the front porch until someone else got home because I didn't want to be in there alone. Why? Why would you not want to be in there alone? Alright, anyway. Annie96 is typing. Oh, this is cool. This goes back to the dial-up days. So this is much more of an interactive experience than anything else on the list. As you read through this WhatsApp conversation, you have to manually click enter to make each new message appear. It's as close to a text-based horror movie you'll find. Ooh, okay. Stories for your screen. Annie69 is typing the creepiest chat history you'll ever read. So here it is. Alright, let's see. Okay, so this person says, Annie96. While playing around with WhatsApp, I stumbled across a weird chat history between 2 people I don't know. It scared the hell out of me. When I tried to find it again, the app crashed and kept crashing. Luckily, I managed to make a copy. Here it is. Annie96 at 1:31. You asleep? 1:31. No, guess you're not either. Annie96. Can't, it's the wind. Sounds like cats fighting. What's your excuse? 1:32. Studying. 1:32. So that's why they call what they call porn now. 1:32. Annie, what the fuck? Annie96, not denying it? Question mark. Oh. 1:36. I still can't believe what Johnny did. Annie96, me either. Me neither. That boy has issues. Okay, Annie96, 1:36. What the fuck? The wind's so loud. That doesn't sound normal. LOL. Okay, 1:36. No wind over here. Just rain. Annie96, lucky you. I need my beauty sleep. 1:37. Damn right you do. Okay, Annie96, what? You mean I look? Okay, Annie, I think I heard footsteps on the gravel outside. McDavie, 1:39, get your crazy dad to check it out. Annie96, I'm home alone. The fam are on holiday, remember? I told you this. McDavie at 1:40. This is odd. Really, till when? We should hang out. Annie, that they really sound like footsteps, but there's something odd about them. I should look out the window, but my bed is so warm. Alright, so McDavie at 1:41. Sure you want to look out the window when you're alone? What if there is someone there in your garden looking up at you? Annie 96 at 142. Not funny, David. Okay, McDavie 142. Wow, chill. I'm sure it's nothing. Alright, Andy 96 at 142. Gonna check, be right back. McDavie, if there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Andy 96 is typing. 145, what time is it? It's 109. Whoa. Andy 96, David, there's someone in the garden. McDavie 145, what, really? Annie 96, yes, I can see a man's back. McDavie, what's he doing? Annie 96 is typing. He's looking for something on his hands and knees in the bushes. McDavie is typing. Whoa. Haha, must be high, probably looking for his drugs. Alright, Annie 96, David, this is serious, what should I do? McDavie, nothing, he'll probably go away by himself. Annie 96, oh my god, now he's digging with his bare hands, he's running, ruining the garden. Annie 96, shit, he's turning around. McDavie, what does he look like? Annie 96 is typing. David, what the fuck, this isn't funny. McDavie, what? Annie 96, how are you doing that? What are you talking about? McDavie says. Annie 96 is typing. Whoa. Annie 96, I can see that it's you in my garden. How are you writing here without touching your phone? Look up. I'm by the window. Can't you hear me banging on it? McDavie. Whoa. What is going on with this? Fuck, Annie, now you're scaring me too. I'm definitely not in your garden. That's not me. Annie 96, stop playing around. I can see your face and you're wearing that stupid football jacket you're so proud of. McDavie is typing. It must be someone who looks like me. Honestly, Annie, I'm at home. I wouldn't play around like that. Okay, Annie 96. This is weird. It has to be a friend of yours, David, playing a sick prank. How else could he be wearing your jacket? McDavie, there's loads of jackets like that. My friends don't look anything like me. You just have me on your mind. Annie 96, he's digging again. Annie 96, fucking leave already. McDavie, Annie, do you have a gun in your house? Annie 96 is typing. Annie 96, don't be stupid, David. I couldn't shoot anyone. Okay, McDavie, you don't have to use it. Just show that you're carrying. Scare tactic. Annie 96 is typing. Alright, Annie 96, doesn't that jacket have your name on the back? McDavie is typing. Yeah, the team all got one with their name on. Annie 96, I can see your fucking name. That's creepy. McDavie, what? Annie 96, what the hell is this, David? And this is really weird too, because it keeps like, it shows like these people typing. Okay. McDavie is typing. Annie, that jacket's in my closet. Annie 96, fuck, he's seen me. Annie 96, why is he smiling like that? Annie 96, he's coming. Whoa. What is going on with my tablet? McDavie, call the cops. McDavie, Annie. Annie, pick up. McDavie is typing. Okay, McDavie, I've called the cops, told them there's a break-in attempt at your place. They said they're on their way, but it'll take about an hour. Wow. Alright, Annie, are you there? Annie 96 is typing. Okay, Annie 96, it's in the house, can't talk, I have to be quiet, lights off, I am in a closet with a knife, hard to type, shaking too much. Alright, McDavie, this is really odd. Fuck, hang in there, Annie, the police will be there in 20 minutes, do you know where he is? Annie 96, it, not he. The look it had when it saw me, David, no person could look like that. Okay, McDavie, Jesus Christ, does it know where you are? Annie, 96. No, I grabbed the knife when I saw it running toward the house, and I got in the closet when I heard it breaking in. McDavie, okay, you'll be fine. A druggie doesn't have the brains to find someone hiding in the closet. The police will be there soon. Annie, 96. Oh God, it's calling out to me. Annie, 96. It doesn't sound like you, David. Its voice is so deep, filling the house, filling my head. McDavie, what is it saying? Annie, 96 is typing. Annie, 96. Come out, Annie. I just went to look at you. Annie, 96. It keeps repeating that over and over. Annie, 96 is typing. Have I gone mad, David? Is this what that feels like? Okay, McDavie, just 10 more minutes, Annie. Keep it together. You are so strong. You will get through this. It's coming up the stairs, but so slowly, irregular steps. Annie, 96. Why does it look like you, David? Why you? McDavie, I don't know, Annie. Please believe me. Annie, 96. Can you make it stop? Annie, 96. Please make it stop. McDavie, I would if I could, I promise you. Annie, 96. It's at the end of the hall. Annie, 96. David, I didn't say anything to my parents when they left. I was listening to music. Is that the last time I seen them? McDavie, Annie. Annie, 96 is typing. Okay, Annie, 96, this has something to do with you, David. Only you could make this stop. Think fast. McDavie, I don't know, Annie. God, please. Annie, 96, please. McDavie is typing. Okay, McDavie, it might be because I think about you so much. McDavie, I think about you all the time. Annie, 96 is typing. Annie, 96, so stop. McDavie, I don't know how. It's scraping something on the walls, getting closer. Please, David. McDavie, I'm trying so hard. Annie, 96 is typing. It's slowing down. Try harder. Annie, 96 is typing. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Annie, 96 is typing. Annie, 96, it's stopped. I can't hear anything. Okay, McDavie, really don't go out yet. Stay put until the police get there. Annie, 96, what should I tell him if he's gone? Everything, Annie, everything you told me. Annie, 96, I don't know you felt that. I didn't know you felt that way about me, David. And McDavie, I'm so glad it stopped. Annie, 96, can you come over in the morning, David? I really need to see you. Of course, Annie, I'll be there. Great, can't wait. McDavie is typing. Annie, ... McDavie is typing. Annie, how do I know this is you? This is odd. Ooh. Annie, 96 went offline. Huh. Well, that was different. Storiesforyourscreen.com is where this came from. So yeah, nothing else. Okay, that's really weird. Huh. That's kind of interesting, right? I mean, Andy 96 is typing. That reminds me of what's that movie on Netflix? Unfriended or something, with the girl that is totally crazy and she rips her hair out and she's a witch. You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, I am going crazy now. Okay, so now we have... Wow, that Annie 96 is typing is strange. You guys have to check that out. That's really cool. Okay, the whispers. The whispers. How exciting. But that was honestly creepy. That was really creepy. Just seeing that. I mean, I know it's, an algorithm and it's generated to do that, but still. What the fuck? It's weird. Alright. The whispers. So, this is a story I do not often tell. Oh, I see my cigarette smoke. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Alright, I promise sincerely that this has scared me for life, and although I have looked into psychological explanations for what I've heard, and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory. Okay. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and they suddenly scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them, asking my mom. She figured that they were just bumps in the night and typical kids' nightmare material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that. They sounded different from one another, the way people's voices do. So he was able to differentiate between the different voices. On some nights, I would get so scared from these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my late night tinkles. I should add that at this point, when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you look directly down the stairs that would lead you into my living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. On one such night around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctly heard the phrase, "look," and, to my astonishment, a red light, almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source. It was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. That's odd. Very odd. Oh, HuffingtonPost.com. All credit to you. So, being a little kid, and it was only being a few days before Christmas, I knew what this light was. It was Santa. Ooh. How else could he get into my house to know I was being a good boy? I was so excited I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step, as it began to creep off the wall and fade into the darkness of my living room. That's really creepy. So that's when I heard him, a very strong masculine voice, different from the first. Not at all like my father's. Not to say he isn't masculine, it was just distinctly different. It said, "Stop right now. Go back up those stairs." Ooh. I listened, turned around, and what happened next, I'm not sure. I would believe if someone had told me the same story after reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. That's kind of creepy. So crappy outside. Alright, so when we woke up the next morning, the poinsettia lights, the Christmas flower lights that glowed red my mother had put on the railing down the stairs, were pulled down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear, laying in a single pile. The dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we both had been victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason that this had happened. And then I saw it. And I kept quiet about it because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There, on the edge of the wooden dry sink, which had been facing up, were 3 indentations where the finish on the wood had been worn, almost as if in a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down. That was the bang was. I was mortified. After that day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was downstairs waiting for me that night, if anything at all, but I can tell you that the reality was that something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house near the bottom of that stairwell. It's interesting. Kinda. So after this, I had never heard another whisper again, which is sad because in some ways, I would have liked to thank the man, masculine energy, that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7. I'm 20 years old now. Oh wow, you're a baby. And because of this incident, I am still afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells. That's my stairwell. Oh wow. It's different. Alright, the grandfather. Alright, these seem really cool. I love these. So, the grandfather. My grandfather told me the story about how one time he was sitting in a chair in front of the house when he heard his wife repeatedly calling him from inside the house. The thing is, my grandmother passed away a few years before that, but he told me that the voice was so pressing that he actually got up to look inside the house. As soon as he got inside, he heard a loud crash behind him and turned around to see the chair that he had been sitting in moments ago had been crushed by a cast iron gutter that fell on it. If he didn't come inside the house, he would have probably been seriously injured. I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but every time I think about it, it sends chills down my spine. Wow. A little bit of a guardian angel there. Guardian spirit, maybe. Pretty cool. Ouch. I can't get comfortable. I cannot get comfortable at all. Okay. Okay, now we have the crib shadow. So, alright, I was babysitting my niece. Once while I was staying at my brother's place. And they had the baby camera set up so I could hear her on the little TV it came with. I was studying and started dozing off when I heard some whispering and realized it was coming from the monitor. I initially thought it was some feedback or something, but when I looked at the TV, there was a dark shadow near my niece's crib. I have never been more terrified in my life, but the shadow was clearly there, where it had not been before. I ran to my niece's room and looked around and saw nothing, but I took her the hell out of there. I went back to the TV and the shadow was clearly gone. I told my brother what had happened, and he pulled me aside and told me not to mention it to my sister-in-law because she'll freak out. But that he had seen the same thing several times now, with the same whispering. They stayed in that house for about 4 more years, and when my niece was just learning to talk, she would tell her mom, her special friend to this day. It scares the shit out of me. When they moved, my brother told me my niece had become inconsolably sad because she would miss her friend. Wow. Her mom would tell her she could bring him along, but all she would say was that he couldn't leave the house. We have never to this day told her about that damn shadow, and she apparently never saw it. Okay, that is a little creepy. That's very creepy. Alright, now we have the shadow. So, I don't know that's what it was called until much later. I was living in the house in Laguna Beach that had been there since the 1920s. In its history, it had a speakeasy, a brothel, and a house for smuggling illegal immigrants. One day, my new wife and I were having an argument. I can't even recall what it was about. She walked down the block to get a cup of coffee and cool off, and I was alone in the house. The way the place was built was incredibly haphazard. There was a bedroom and a living room on one side, then a bathroom with 2 entrances. On the other side of the bathroom was a hallway that had windows in one side, and 2 bedrooms on the other. From my bedroom, I could look across the hall into the bathroom. Then, through the bathroom, down the other hall, I was standing at my dresser, and I just noticed movement out of the corner of my eye, and looked down there. And there was, and honest to God, this gives me goosebumps just typing it. 17 years later, a black figure. It was maybe 3 feet tall, and it was vaguely humanoid. It looked like black scribbles. like someone had scribbled a human shape, but the scribbles moved. Like electricity arsing. That's the best way to describe it. So there was no sound that I could that I could remember. I distinctly remember when I saw it, I wasn't afraid. Just like, what the fuck? Then it noticed me looking at it. I can't say it turned around, it just focused on me, I guess. Then I was scared. I didn't move, didn't scream, nothing. I was just frozen. Because it just fucking came at me. It rushed down the hall towards me. I have no idea what it intended, but as soon as I entered the bedroom, the door closet to me just slammed shut. I screamed, I yelled for my wife. She wasn't home. I went the fuck outside into the daylight and didn't go back in until she got home, about 10 minutes later. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe I saw something supernatural, but I know I saw something. I don't know what it was. Very odd. Alright, I found it. Here's another one that just looked a little better. This looks a little better. So this will be the last one. So, the satellite images. And this is really cool. Okay, a friend of mine showed me how to use Google Maps. I'm sure you've seen it. It lets you use satellite images to look at different locations all over the world. A few years ago, I was in a car accident. Since then, I don't really leave the house that often. It's difficult, and the idea of seeing a car drive by makes me feel lightheaded. I was fascinated by the fact that I could see all over the world, almost like being there. I could virtually walk down the streets and almost felt like I was really there. I became instantly hooked. It gave me a real eye on the world. I could go to almost any major city, and I did. I'd seen streets in China, Japan, Germany, and England, so many places. I've never gone to tourist attractions like the Great Barrier Reef and Dracula's Castle. My favorite was to go to random places in major cities and see how many people and animals I could find. The faces of the people were always blurred to protect their privacy, but it was still enjoyable to see them out there, enjoying their life, walking like it was no big deal. She must have good taste, I laughed. I zoomed in closer and noticed the gray bag she carried on a gray and purple shoulder strap. She was walking in a relaxed manner, one hand trailing the wall beside her. I bet if I could have seen her face, I would see that she was smiling. I began to feel a little sad. I let my hands fall into the arms of the my wheelchair, and looked at her for a minute or more. I wish that I could be there, walking so carefree with her. That would happen, though, until I died. That wouldn't happen, though, until I died. I was stuck in this chair. I sighed and zoomed out of Tokyo. Enough of this for tonight. I turned off the computer and went to bed. Alright. He says, I got up early and decided to look around Paris. Paris was always fun. I liked to look at the city with all the old, beautiful buildings and so many people to watch, and the fashion. No, I said the fashion, not him. Alright. I randomly zoomed to an area and saw a street lined with old brick buildings, a few small shops, and an old tan brick church. Ahead was an intersection and dozens of people walking by. A balding businessman walked quickly past, looking back at an old woman, hair covered with a scarf, carrying a large purse. A curvy woman in black pants that were too tight stared into a store window, and two women led a small group of children around a corner. I spun the view around a few more times, and then saw something peculiar. Sitting on the bench at the bus stop were two people. One of them was a young woman with her feet stuck in front of her in a relaxed manner. She was wearing a pair of red sneakers like my own. I was startled for a moment as I noticed her black pants, white t-shirt, and black hooded jacket. Her dark brown hair was tied loosely behind her head. A gray bag sat on the bench beside her, the shoulder strap hooked over the shoulder. That is crazy, I thought. It couldn't possibly be the same woman. This is a different country, a different continent even. How could it be her? This was stupid. It wasn't as if these were live photographs. They were taken ahead of time and then stored. It's not like she was in two places at once. She could have been a traveler. Besides, without seeing her face, it was impossible to tell if the same person. Brown hair was probably the most common hair color in the world. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Alright, so those red sneakers were something I purchased online. I'm sure a million other people did too. I shook my head and went to fix some lunch. When I got back online, I decided to look at Berlin. I picked a random street and, as usual, it looked pretty empty. There were brick buildings lining up the streets, looking more like factories than anything else. There were also empty lots, full of long grass and piled gravel. Where'd I go? There wasn't much to see at all, really. There was a line of motorbikes and a car with 2 German flags sticking up from it. After more researching, I found one kid. He looked like he was dressed for school, a jacket thrown over his bag. He was intently looking at some kind of mobile device. I was disappointed. I started to leave, but then I caught something out of the corner of my eye. I turned the view, and there they were, those damn red sneakers. She was standing on a street corner next to some kind of signpost. She had a hand on the post looking down the street, as if waiting to cross the street. I stared in shock. How could she even be there too? Even if she was traveling, there's no way I would find her every time. Even finding her in Paris would have been one hell of a coincidence, but this was crazy. Was this some kind of joke? Had Google decided to play a prank on its users that use their products so much? It would have been a great joke. Holy windy. Wow. So, I did a quick search looking for a note about a woman that shows up like Waldo. There was nothing. I looked through articles on strange things that you can see on Google Maps, but none of them mentioned that woman that travels the world with you. This was crazy. Had my self-imposed isolation driven me mad? Had I become so lonely that I created a hallucination for myself? Possible. Leaving the Berlin image on my screen, I sent a text message to a friend asking him to look at the locations. I asked him if he saw the same woman, then waited, hands sweating, heart thumping in my chest. I jumped when my phone beeped with a return text message. 10 minutes later, the text read, "I see the lady you're talking about in Berlin. I didn't see her in Paris or Tokyo. Is this some kind of game or what? Are you okay?" I didn't respond. Instead, returning to the locations in Tokyo and Paris, there she was. She was there, but it was different. She no longer sat on the bus stop bench in Paris. She was standing in front of it, looking for something in her bag. In Tokyo, she was blocks away, squatting down to pet the calico cat. I shivered. Who was she? What was happening? I switched the map to Brussels. It was another city street. It was lined with old-looking buildings with shops on the ground level, and what I guessed was apartments above. I quickly scanned the streets. They were empty, other than a stocky woman in a bright blue sweater. I did a second sweep. She wasn't there. I sighed in relief. I couldn't believe I was getting so worked up about this. It was nothing but a coincidence. I stopped. My eyes froze on the screen. There was a building at the point of a fork in the road, white with a black ironwork framed balcony jutting from the second floor. I hadn't seen her, as I had been looking at the sidewalks. There she stood, standing on the balcony, her head tilted in the direction of the camera. Wow. Almost like she was coyly looking toward me. My breath caught in my throat. I switched to Sydney. She was leaning against the wall inside the doorway of a bright blue Carrick's pharmacy building. London showed her getting ready to step onto a red double-decker bus, but her head turned to look over her shoulder. She was also everywhere I looked. She stood on a brick sidewalk on a bridge in Venice. She walked across a yellow-barred crosswalk in Zurich, and in Hong Kong she stopped between Wing Lung Bank and a McDonald's, adjusting the strap on her bag. In each picture, she came closer and closer to looking directly at me with her blurred-out face. My heart felt like a terrified bird slamming around inside my chest. I couldn't catch my breath. I wasn't sure what to do. I couldn't call the police. Should I send screenshots to Google? I clenched my fists tightly and closed my eyes. Who was she? Was she following me? Was I following her? I wish I could see the expression on her face. know what she saw when she looked back at me. I wanted to get out of the chair and run. Why is it that the only thing made me feel free again was the thing that made me feel even more trapped? I had to know. So I typed in the name of my town and zoomed into a random street. It was a couple of miles from my house. The gates to the city park were shown in the clarity of daylight, despite it being right here. There she was. There she was. She was only a few miles from my house, standing under the ironwork arch that stated the name of the park. She looked directly at the camera, directly at me. I felt like I might throw up. She was near me, and she was watching me. She was coming for me. What did she want? I typed in the name of the apartment complex where I live. I could see the outside of the building. The parking lot was full of cars, and there was a few blurred out children on the playground. I searched everywhere for her. She wasn't in the parking lot or on the sidewalks, not hiding between the buildings or standing in the playground. I even scanned each of the cars. Behind the bushes and each of the blurred windows, she wasn't there. I curled tightly around myself and lay my head down on my desk. This place was safe. I didn't leave the apartment anyway. I would never use Google Maps again. I would never see her again. She could stay at the park for all I cared. I smiled to myself and was surprised to find a tear slipping down my face. I'm safe, I said to myself in a whisper. It felt good to hear it out loud. I'm safe. Alright. And as I said it, there was a knock at the door. A chill ran down my spine. I had a camera hooked to my computer that showed who was at the front door, which made it easier for me with my mobility issues. I slowly reached for the control to show myself who was outside, but my hand trembled furiously. As I touched the control, I realized my mistake. The last of Google's images that I had seen had only shown the outside of the building. Just the outside. Alright, I looked at the screen and saw a woman in a white t-shirt, black pants, black hooded jacket, and carrying a gray bag with purple and gray striped shoulder strap. Of course, there were those red sneakers. She looked directly at the camera, her face still a complete blur. As I tried to stifle a scream, she raised a hand and knocked loudly on my front door. Is that it? That is it. So, pretty creepy. Pretty creepy. So yeah, I thought that would be just interesting to do. So yes, no more ghost box. No more ghost box at all. Ever. I'm not gonna go through all that crap again. So let's do some coffee talk. But yeah, never again will I am not going to subject myself to a fucking app on here that is going to screw with me. So, I don't know. Could be it. Very well could have been. Whatever. The ghost box. Me sleeping right next to it. Kind of just being depressed. And yeah, so I'm gonna get rid of it and see what happens. So, little like, I don't know, diary type thing with this ghost box. And it only happened when I started using this ghost box. So I am getting my self-fulfilled prophecy. Maybe. Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Because I don't. And just so you guys know, I feel a magic kick coming on. Big time. Big magic kick. Anything metaphysical. But I'm still sticking to the urban legends because they're great. But it'll be different. So, random guy. What's with the sounds of Halloween track playing in the background? Kind of freaky. In that video? I didn't think I don't know, I don't watch my own videos, I'm sorry. Oh, windy. Very. Alright. Annalisa, hi. Vasilla Murder House is such a sad story. Did I read that one? That was sad. That was sad. Crimson something. Kyoko, whatever the hell that is. Why don't people put pictures of themselves instead of using anime, whatever? I find it stupid. Alright, how do you know it's Zozo? If it's willing to pretend to be someone else, then it could be pretending to be Zozo too. Zozo's fake, made up by Darren Evans, the Zozo phenomenon, him and Rosemary Ellen, whatever, Gilly, and John Zappas, all came together and created this fake entity. So take it up with him, not me. Alright, Drew's Paranormal Vlog. Hi, how are you? Okay, well, you did say you have a foreign heritage. It's maybe Vlad coming through to talk to his nephew. Oh god, I didn't even think about that. Sorry, I don't always comment, Ryan. I watch late at night on my TV. Oh, I'm on your TV? Wow. 10 times the hair. I like it. And so can't always like and comment. Love you, buddy. Your face is a picture using the Ghost app. Your face is a picture. It's weird. It's really weird. Alright, S. Sun. Hey, Ryan. Hi. How are you? I was wondering, are you going to talk to V again, or are you taking a break from talking on the board? No, we actually use the board. I just don't record it as much as I used to. So I always, every single day, always in contact with her. I'll be doing it, though. So, don't worry. Alright, Sheila. Hi, Sheila. The only Ghost app I tried was the Ghost Radar. Oh yeah, with little dots, and it shows you where the spirits supposedly are in your house. One, it says words and it has different colored dots on them that are supposed to be ghosts, so I wrote the words down to see what they all mean later on, and to see if any of them made sense. Some of them did make sense, and yes, I believe in paranormal. I don't know what's up with this ghost box. I don't know. Are you supposed to play these backwards? Because I don't know how to do that. A record player I can do. I cannot play anything backwards. Shout out Kansas ghost stories, such as life. Oh, my Lou, not too long and you'll be here. I'm so happy. Alright, Jen Zach. I love you. Hi, my darling. Truth is freedom. Shout out Robert O'Donnell. Hello. Lisa Oaks. I love you so much. Margarita. Hi. Jade. Veronica. Hi. Wicked Witch. I love you, my darling. Very much. Alright. FriendLoco91. Email me. ryanjespich@gmail.com. Gay Misanthrope. Hi. Hi, my love. Candy Pops. Johnny Tucker. Miss Cupcake. Hi. Trash Raven. Hello. Dawn. Hi, my darling. Alright. Groovy Baby 777. Lisa Kimple. I love you, my darling. Baby Gorilla. Marjorie. Dark Prince Lucy. Jessica Andrews. Dark Prince Lucy again. Jasper Quinzel. Hi, my darling. Abby. Melody. Queen of Negativity. I love you. Damini Das. Shout out. Alright, guys. Okay. I will see you all tomorrow. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the whole ghost box thing. I mean, do you think it's these problems, my issues, started when I first used it. So I'm not going to use it anymore. Yeah, if you guys have a ghost story that you want, send it to me. My email is below. So I love you all very much with all my heart. All the way from Venus. All the way back down. And I will see you all tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching, and yeah, have fun.